Hey, it's me, Boxo. I bet you're wondering how I got into this situation. Seriously, can you really call yourself an Isekai fan if you haven't seen a vending machine get swallowed up by a croc, who then, the magical way we solve said issue of being dissolved by stomach acid is by nuking some metal in our makeshift microwave in order to give that thing heartburn to spit us all up as it explodes into a fiery death? I think not. This show, seriously, Reborn as a vending machine, what should have been the meme of the season, turned out to have one hell of an author, and I really hope this anime gives the popularity a jump start for the series so that the source material, those light novels, can continue, because I think this show is just ahead of its time, and that's why we only got a couple of those volumes, because people just, they couldn't appreciate it at the time. But I think now we've kind of grown into the culture a bit more, so a show like this can now profit. Now, I do have a full live reaction to episode 6 of this wonderful Reborn as a Vending Machine show available on my Patreon. If you would like to see my full live reaction, it is over there if you're interested. I think the best way to explain my praise and my excitement for this is it feels like it was written by an Isekai fan who actually has writing chops. I think any of us who have seen a couple dozen series in this fantasy, reborn, reincarnated plotline stuff, we could probably come up with an idea like Reborn as a vending machine. And we all could probably say, oh, it'd be funny if he threw a can of Coke at a monster. But most of us don't have the writing chops to make something as well written as this. And I think one of the best ways to look at it is how they utilize Boxo as a mechanic. They don't use him as a meme. There is funny moments, there's ridiculous moments, but the overall idea of how he's implemented into action, really this was the first episode where he had to take on something truly by himself. And the idea of going from Mentos and Coke to blind some creature in order to be able to let our warriors get the jump on him, to then in this episode starting to try to distract the big gator with a bunch of KFC, basically, throwing some fried chicken at it, to then only getting 8 yourself. What can you do? Well, you need to make it spit you back up. So you start doing things. You're using gas, you're using all these things that might work, to the eventual, okay, you know what? We've been using this body for a while. Let's mix and match, baby. And the idea of microwaving basically metal to explode the insides in order to get yourself free is pretty damn genius. And I love how this isn't actually a meme. Some of the things at face value you could meme, and people would look at it at the distance and be like, yep, that's anime for you. Some dumb shit we always see. But it surprisingly has character. It has writing chops. It really does. And I can't believe how good this is. And honestly, at this point, all I know is I want the light novel to continue so that therefore the anime can continue, because this show is actually pretty special. This isn't going to be my overall favorite Isekai of the year. It's not going to be my overall favorite Isekai of all time. But something I can confidently say is that when people ask me what are some of the more interesting Isekai series that you could watch, I guarantee you Reborn as a Vending Machine will be on that list of recommendations, because while it may not be the overall best story of all time, am I going to put it up there with a ReZero or a Mushoku Tensei? No, I'm not. But what I can say is that it has such a level of charm and creativity, it's hard not to recommend it among some of my favorites like those. And I really enjoyed what they did with this episode. At first, I thought what they were going for. So we have what I thought was some kid at first, a very young character design, apparently an adult who runs some market or some store of some sort. It looks like Boxo is kind of playing a bit of a matchmaker here, so he's giving him a bunch of ingredients, you know, this good cooking oils and all that, something that they can make a very tasty dish for seemingly a crush. And I like the fact that, you know, it's something that maybe will be a bit more in the background. One of the guards and this girl, and something we'll see maybe from time to time, but not something that's going to be an overall giant plot point like I thought maybe they're going for at the start of the episode. And the idea of basically, well, we've already dealt with a couple of big beasts, right? Big frog, a twin-headed serpent that actually destroyed quite a few buildings, and now we got basically 4 alligators running amok in this world. And it was really cool to see what they ultimately did in order to kind of like smoke them out. So the idea of first using an ice machine, I wasn't really sure what they were doing. I thought they were going to use it to do some banana peel monkey business of making them slip and slide. A lot more clever with what they went for, the whole idea of basically dropping a shit ton of ice into the water in order to kind of like bring them out, and then the way they use like kind of like the steam and the smoke to also kind of cloud their vision, sort of a thing. Now obviously it doesn't simply work out that way and all's well that ends well. We see what ultimately transpires after. But you gotta hand it to him. Like, the show took a while to give Boxo his first W all by himself, But the idea of, doing it and the way they explain it, it really felt like he couldn't have done something like this in the first few episodes. The only reason he could do it here is because he's had so many days, if not weeks, if not months, to really experiment with the transformations and the things that he's experienced from his first life. So now that he can do it here with his vending machines with this, it's really, really creative, you have to admit. And even if this isn't like a show that you overall love or say, oh my god, I can't wait to watch the next episode, you would have to be lying and kidding yourself to not admit that it is clever with its writing, and that it's more than just, oh, look at the goofy box making a blushing face at the cute anime girl. Like, he's done that a few times over 6 episodes, but in general, he feels like a pretty wholesome guy who literally just wants to keep this village, his friends, his family safe, because that's really what they are to him at this point. They do give him a coin of some sort, so they say like these monsters, basically almost like floor bosses to a dungeon, they kind of explained it as. They have like a rare drop, and what he ended up getting was some coin with like the crocodile's face on it. Now, I'm not sure if they're going the route of, if he puts that in the coin slot, if that's going to be a brand new ability of some sort, which I doubt, but could be an interesting direction if they go. But I'm also wondering if, like, he did consume that coin, would that be a ridiculous amount of funds for a very long time, which could keep him safe, especially if he's gonna have to put up barriers and the likes, because he did use a hefty amount of points just for that fight, and now he seemingly is thrown down to the pits of hell, so there's a lot of uncertainty there. It does seem like we're going for a bit of a rescue mission of some sort, especially given that we did fall so far deep, and of course we know our characters like Lammas aren't just gonna sit idly by and just let Boxo wheel himself back up. I doubt he could at that point. I mean, unless he has some roller skates in the vending machine that maybe he can somehow attach to himself and maybe attach a rocket and rocket himself right back up, I don't know. But either way, I've been having a very fun time with this show. It surprisingly is charming, it's cute, it's really harmless at the end of the day. I mean, the most harmful aspect is our dude who just always is chilling on top of the carriage ride, and I don't know, he's always trying to get a little squeeze, a little something something out of some of the pretty characters. But at the end of the day, I mean, this show knows what it wants to be. It doesn't try to overextend itself, doesn't try to play all of its cards right away. And I think the idea of letting a character reincarnate as something that he had such experience with in his original world, kind of like a vending machine enthusiast, to then seeing him use that knowledge like an oxygen vending machine, a gas vending machine. And it's not like they just drop random things and you're like, wait, does that actually exist? He'll always tell you it did. Like, he'll drop the year, like, yeah, 1939 after so-and-so, and you're like, okay, you know what? Let's check. He's actually right. He's actually right. Okay, you gotta appreciate that. That's how I feel anyway, but let me know what you thought down below. We are now officially halfway through Reborn as a vending machine. What are you thinking, and what do you want to see going forward? Let me know down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more videos to the channel. Like I mentioned, we do have that full live reaction available on my Patreon, and hey, while you're there, you also get a video shout out. So today we have Ashlith, Alla Ann, Cult of Gom, Buanake, Monica Lazuria, Cryptic, and Big Boy J. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.